So, you want to travel to Iceland and don't know what to pack? Well, I'm here to help you with this video. Alright, what you see here is all the stuff I brought on a 2-week road trip with a car where we were traveling along the Ring Road. We did the Golden Circle, we visited Reykjavik for a few days. This is what you've all seen in the video series. Season-wise, we've been there in October and November. This means this is actually appropriate for all seasons because we needed to prepare for warmer temperatures as well as colder temperatures. Regarding all the items I will show you in this video, none of them are paid or sponsored in any way. I actually bought them all myself, and some of these items I haven't used for many years. I also prepared a whole packing list for Iceland on my blog, which you can find up here if you want to check it out. We start things off with the bags. Because we were on a road trip with a car, we didn't need to drag around our whole luggage. So this is why I chose to go with a duffel bag. This particular one has about 60 liters capacity, and this is the main bag. So here goes all like the clothes and some of the cables and all the stuff I don't need for the day. This goes in here. This particular duffel bag is pretty cool because you also have some pockets over here, so you can put some cables in there, and it is waterproof, which is pretty cool. So if you're on the road on a 4x4 and you can put stuff on top of the 4x4, everything in here stays dry, and for that it also has some really strong straps on the side so you can strap it onto the car. Another cool thing is that you can convert this bag into a backpack, which is pretty cool if you want to carry it around, for example, first and last day. For organizing all the stuff in the main bag, I usually use these packing cubes. It's pretty handy because then you can just reach in and you know exactly where everything is. The other bag is a day bag. Because I'm doing videography and photography, I have a drone with me and all the camera gear you will see later on. I have a camera bag with me. This one is pretty cool because it doesn't only fit in the drone I have, it is also good for all the camera gear. I can put a laptop in here, so it's my choice for the day. If you're not into photography, videography that much, you should go with a smaller day pack where you put the stuff in for the day. The weather in Iceland is pretty unpredictable. This is why you should bring many layers. So in this video we talk about 3 layers abroad. We have the base or inner layer, which is for comfort and to keep your skin dry. Then we have the mid layer, which is to keep you warm. And then we have the outer or shell layer, which protects you from water and from wind. So for the inner layer, I brought underwear, in my case 14 boxes, so 1 for each day. Hiking socks, 2 pairs. These are actually ski socks, but they're really good for hiking as well, keep you warm. Then we have a few pairs of normal socks, 4 t-shirts, and 2 thin sweaters. So depending on the weather situation, I was going with one of those. And for really cool days, I brought 2 pairs of thermal underwear. If you're coming in summer, you might only need 1, but you should bring 1 because it's better to be safe than sorry. And in winter, I would add another pair to that. For the mid layer, I brought 2 thick sweaters and a fleece jacket. Fleece jacket is always a good idea because you can just put it on when you need it. I have this now for about 6 years. It's a really good one. You should bring it even though you're in summer there, because you never know if it's getting colder. A fleece jacket is always handy. For all the other seasons, I would say it's a must. An alternative to the fleece jacket is a down jacket. Oh yeah, scarf. So if you're coming in winter, if you're coming in the shoulder season in summer, this one is enough. Last but not least, the shell layer. This is where I put in the pants. I'm not sure if they are mid or shell layer. I brought a pair of jeans and a pair of like outdoor hiking pants, and actually I use these here most of the time because they're really handy. They dry really fast, so I would actually recommend getting maybe 2 of them to have like a spare pair. And then of course a jacket. As I said, shell layer is for water and wind protection. I brought this wind and rain waterproof jacket from Marmot. Really good, and the cool thing is it is orange, so this really sticks out in the landscape in Iceland. So if you want to take photos, really good choice. And it was super waterproof, so yeah, it was really good to have that. If you want, you can also bring waterproof pants, totally up to you. And then we had some colder days where we needed gloves. If you come in winter, definitely bring the warmer ones. And a hat, in this case a beanie. This is what I used actually most of the time, because this one here would fly away in most of the cases because the wind is really strong. So a beanie it is. What else? Of course, sunglasses. Doesn't matter which season the sun comes out and you're driving, it's always good to have sunglasses with you. Then, for all the hot springs you will encounter in Iceland, or if you're going to the Blue Lagoon, bring your swimsuit and bring a towel. This is a microfiber towel which dries really fast, so good to have. And then of course, shoes. I brought these hiking shoes, and I always recommend bringing hiking shoes which are waterproof. Don't matter if you're going on a big hiking trip or not. Even though you would only go to visit the waterfalls, it's always wet and slippery. I highly recommend getting a pair of waterproof hiking boots. And for the driving, maybe also some sneakers, and for the city. And then of course also when you're going to the hot springs, flip-flops. In matters of toiletries, it's pretty straightforward. Just bring a toiletry kit and then have toothbrush, toothpaste, cream, deodorant, floss, medicine if you need it, and yeah, of course sunscreen. If it's getting sunnier, it's always good to have sunscreen with you. And then all the other stuff you need in particular. Let's talk about gadgets. This is all the stuff which is not camera gear. So for instance, this holder here, because we were on a road trip and we needed our phone to navigate, this came in pretty handy. This is a Bluetooth speaker I brought with me, so we had our own music on the road trip. Then a headlamp, not only for night photography but also in shoulder and winter season it gets dark pretty early, so it's really handy to have a headlamp with you. A laptop and also a hard disk drive to put your photos on. Then I have a battery pack to keep your phone charged, especially when you do like the navigation. It runs out of battery really fast, so it's good to have a battery pack. And then an adapter if you need it. So in Iceland they actually have the F-type, this is this one. So if you're from the US, you probably need an adapter to keep all your electronics charged. Camera gear, my favorite section. For the series I shot on several cameras. One is the A7 Mark II from Sony. I used it for videography as well as for photography. Then the Sony RX100 Mark V, mainly for videography, together with this stabilizer here, this gimbal. So I mounted it on the gimbal, and so we have this really smooth, steady shots going to the waterfall and stuff. Good camera. Then a GoPro, here the GoPro Hero 4. This is what we used for the shots inside the car. We also have a suction cup to mount it onto the car. And then of course a drone to get all this cool aerial footage you've seen, for example from the car driving, and 2 drone batteries to be safe. Of course also extra batteries for all the other cameras, so I brought like 4 batteries for the A7 Mark II and 4 batteries for the RX100. Also important SD cards, spare SD cards, and I brought also a waterproof SD card holder. Really important for Iceland because it's pretty wet. Speaking of, you should also bring a microfiber towel for your lens to wipe it off, because when you're at the waterfalls your lens will get wet, so you need to wipe it off quite often. So bring maybe 2 of them or 1 big microfiber towel. And at the waterfalls you would probably also need ND filters. Lens-wise, I brought a 16-35. This is right now on the camera. This is why you can't see it. And we had also a 24-240 lens. Then of course some more gear to clean your lens, like a lens pan and this rocket to blow out dust in the lens. If you're not into photography or videography as much, just bring your camera, bring chargers, extra batteries and extra SD cards. Camera wise, I would say if you're just on a vacation, you want to get some cool photos, the Sony a6000 is a good camera to go with. It's not too expensive, but it has really good quality. Before you head off, you shouldn't forget to bring also your documents. With that I mean the passport, driver's license and travel insurance. I usually go with the one from World Nomads. I link it down below in the description box. Last but not least, of course, a tripod. And there we have it. If you want to go through this whole packing list, I prepared this whole Iceland packing list on my blog. It is linked over here. Then if you want to see more videos from Iceland, you can check out the whole Circling Iceland series over here, where we travel all around Iceland and show you all the cool stuff to do there. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for new travel videos every Thursday. I see you next week. Bye.